So let's do a Chazorah. Help me in the summary. What was the first Shaila? What's the right? So he starts off saying the whole Rosh Tevis is Elul, contradicts that the last Dodi Liz are Shani Yom Kippur. Second question was the Moshel of a Melech Basada. So that raises the question. It seems to contradict what? The Tur, who says that the reason that we blow shofar is in order to be payal charoda, trembling and fear. How does it fit with the Alteba's Moshel that the king is in the field and shows panim yofes and panim sheicherkas? That would be Av, but the shofar is the union of Yira. So that's a contradiction. So the answer already is in the base. The Biring in Beproti starts in Eis Gimel. So what did he answer in the base? Look at it for a moment and give me in 2 lines the answer.
But the way of the way of the Sustotata, the person is Yira. And that's El, somebody.
Why is it Elos Avodah?
We're going out to the field, right?
No. It's therefore we go out to the field. That's the therefore.
Because
we appointed him as a king.
Just saying Kabbalah Samalchus, right? That comes from the people. So and liddoidi, the opening words of Elul is clearly the Avodah of the Yid. Now, you tell me why is Yid Milamata Lamayla and Ava Milamayla Lamata?
Here it takes work. It takes putting yourself aside. It takes retrospect. Ava is very easy.
Because
something is lovable, you love it.
So that's the Giloi.
Less effort.
Right, the Giloi comes to you. This is it appeals, it elicits your response. If something is desirable, it's not avoided to desire it. It's Milamayla Lamata. So since Elul is on Yidlidoidi and the whole union of expressed in Kabbalah Samalchus, so therefore it's Yira. Now the answer that explains the deer because it's very bekitzer, and that's where's that expressed in Rebbe's Moshel? It's in the Moshel. That's the going out to the Kabbalah the Melech. And then comes the Panim Sheicherkas and so on. That's bekitzer. So now Birangin Beprotius. Beating Beprotius, understand this by prefacing what the Tzemach Tzedek says in the Maimer. Which Maimer? Where he addresses the union of Shefer and Elul. He says, it's Akdoma, an introduction, preparation for the Shefer of Rosh Hashanah. The difference between the two is the fear and trembling induced by the Shefer of Elul is the lower level of fear, which you'll explain later. Whereas the fear that is induced by the and the trembling of Rosh Hashanah, generally the difference is the lower fear is the consequences to me, and the higher fear is, or the higher awe is, not the consequences to me, but just a sense of insignificance, even busha in the face of such truth. But the Maim itself will explain. And This is the reason explained it's a Tzedek why the Chacham of Masak and the Minig to blow shofar in Elul and in the whole month. It's like Barish Chodesh Elul and the whole month. He seemed to imply that it could have been achieved to a lesser degree blowing at Rosh Chodesh, because Rosh Chodesh is currently the whole month. So you blow shofar then, so that's gets in motion Yira Tata, but they went even further and said the mamash the whole Chodesh. One cannot arrive at the high year without first the lower year. That's number one. But now the reason is as follows. The 10 days of which begin when the Shoshana, Maschim Rosh Hashanah. So what are we doing then? What's the avodah? Tzorich lahamshich me'amakif. We have to draw from this transcendent level of alikus, which our sins did not blemish. So that this makif, this transcendent level, fill and fix those levels of alikus that were tarnished, that were blemished throughout the year through Avedas. Now to draw this infinite, this transcendent level that is not affected, the only keli for that is getting out of the way. They bittul daf gets bittul. Like he says in Torah, the Alter Rebbe said al pasuk. On the pasuk in Yeshaya, the Eibishter says, "Hashamayim kisi, heaven is my throne." And the earth is my footstool. Which is the house that can contain me? And the answer is, and to this one I will look. To the poor and the crushed of spirit, that this that's where I reside, not in Shemaim, and not in Oretz Adim Ragli, but in this bayis, this home. The small little space, which is the Inyan of Bittul. That's the intent of the pasuk here. The meaning of the pasuk is the Shemaim, but it's same Torah and mitzvahs. So Shemaim, was bepnimi is go on Torah and mitzvahs. Shemaim, of course, is Torah comes from heaven, and all the things we do down here. So Torah and mitzvahs, we draw on these defined levels of godliness that are drawn into the gedarim of the world. Pnimi means a revelation that engages the finitude, the boundaries, the gedarim of the person of the world. Seichel, midas, maisa, and so on. And that's kisiv adim bragli. That's the throne. And even that when a person sits b'siyashvos, that's sitting down, getting down, and even more sadim ragli, the footstool. However, so this is the taishe. Eze bias, but the drawdown. I said before, the bias is the thing of the bittul, but it's because it draws the bias, the transcendent, not the throne and the footstool, but the bias which encompasses everybody equally. A home is not built. You don't take into consideration the height of the people when you build a home. Londa geya klal uklal. The bias of makif. Bias is the great transcendent level. Makifim atzam makif arachot. There's different levels of makif. Clothing are also makif, but they are somewhat, not somewhat, they're tailored to the person. But a bias is makif, a distant makif, not tailored at all, not even begetted. So what's the keli for that is bittul, as the pasuk goes on to say, where's my home going to be? El oni unachei ruach. That's where my home is going to be. That's what the makif is. Oni unachei ruach. The pasuk concludes, the one who trembles for my word. So this is the second reason why we blow shofar. Therefore, you have to blow shofar on Elul. In order to mamshich this makif, the bias from where the kapar of the atonement happens. So there has to be the humbled of spirit and the trembling, and that's induced by what? The shofar, the itkiyah shofar of Elul, boim lecharada. That's the keli for this trembling. That's the keli for the amshach of the makif that begins Rosh Hashanah. But that only engenders the next question. We still don't have, from this second answer, we don't understand why you need the shofar Elul. That's affected also by the shofar Rosh Hashanah. Yad Rab, on the contrary, the trembling Rosh Hashanah is even greater, of course, than the trembling of Elul, as expressed very exquisitely in the Machzir. heavens and earth in the state of trembling. Hayoim hara soila. One of the meanings is that today the world trembles. It's the Yom Adin. Ukandal ba Maimer. And the Maimer, he said, Shacharoda ba Mitkeshev Elu Yid Tata. We're saying now that the year of Rosh Hashanah is even greater. The Maimer himself said that Tzemach Tzedek, that the blowing of the shofar Elul is the lower year. But the Charod of Tkei Shofar is Yir Allah. So if the second reason we're asking, not the first one. First one we understand, you can't come from the lower Yir to the higher. But the second reason that Tzemach Tzedek to induce bittul as a keli for the maki, for the bayis, for the atonement, that's achieved by the Rosh Hashanah. The Shofar Rosh Hashanah even greater because it's Yir Allah, Charod Allah. And yet, that's a matter that became Namshachas and Mak Rosh Hashanah. Yet, Moedidik thing here that no, that what draws down the Makiv Rosh Hashanah is not the Shofar of Rosh Hashanah, not the Shofar of Rosh Hashanah. So how could that be that the lower level of Yira pearls the necessary bittul for the Amshacha, the Moedidik Amshacha of Rosh Hashanah, the Eir Chodesh, the Makiv. And it's not nimshach through the Yirei Ilah of Rosh Hashanah. Now that's a question. You agree? Yeah. Dalet. So usually Chassidus explains the lower Yira is the fear of, I said, consequence, punishment. But here he says that the whole level of Yira is a whole different level. Rabbi just takes us by the hand. Kindalach. Let's go. Understand me first prefacing the explanation. What's the explanation of the fact that Yira of Elul is the lower Yira? Yira the Rosh Hashanah, Yira Ilah is the higher fear. What's the difference between the lower and the higher? So again, usually the lower fear is I'm afraid they're going to get punished or consequences. The higher fear is like a respect of the king, not fear of punishment, but respect. Now he says, no, they're both a respect, they're both a relationship. The difference is, like he says in Tanya Perek Gimel. The Yira Tato, the Alter Rebbe explains that the lower level of Yira, he's in awe of the Eibishter's greatness. God is created, as we're speaking in the previous Maamar, although the Maamar didn't use that language, but that's how we explained it. The difference between Difnat Simsum, Post Simsum, Eira Kol B'Moir, and the Eira Mispashit Me'amoir is just this. Is the Eibishter's creator, and the Eibishter is beyond creator. So the lower level of fear is the Eibishter in awe of God, as the creator of the world. That's awesome. An appreciation of the wonder of the creator and creation is extraordinarily awesome. But that's Yira Tato. But Bittul should be Yira Zu, he Bittul Layesh. You tell me why. This level of Bittul, which only makes that question stronger, if you're looking for Bittul as a Keli for the Makif, you're just saying now that Elul is a low level of Bittul Layesh, so surely this strengthens it so far. The question is getting stronger. But I wanted you to tell me, based on members of the previous Maamar, why would the Bittul of this year cannot go beyond Bittul Yesh? First of all, what does Bittul Yesh mean? As opposed to Bittul Mitzias, or the Bittul of Kolochaship. What does Bittul Yesh mean? I counted this many times, no? Anybody?
Putting oneself aside for something greater, acknowledging that there's something greater.
Right. What's
there's still me, but there's something greater than me.
Yeah.
Bottle to that.
Yeah. Moreover, it's correct. The origin of the bittul is me. My appreciation of you. You can never escape that. Moreover, now, based on what we learned the previous Maimer, give me some basis from the previous Maimer. And the whole Cheshach where bittul gambri is opposed to not just nitche. And why? Why the low level is only pearl nitche and can't pearl anymore. And dafka there, I call it is pearl bittul legambri, in the words of the Maimer. Spent a few days on this. So drawing what we learned there, just bring that explanation here. It's the same. It's not a connection. It's oto davar, and
It's all linked because it deals with Gvul, it deals with Yeshus, it deals with outside sources and things that are in existence that feel that they exist. It's all the same link. It's all the same.
Let's talk about God. We're talking about the Eibush, right?
Ephes Belodai. Is that
Just
what you're?
one second, hang on. We're saying good, but let's. The McGill student is sitting here like confused or puzzled. He's talking about God, so talk about God. He's talking about Yireit, Tata, Bittul Hayesh. We just defined divinity here. Now, just use plain English and why this is Bittul Hayesh. If the relationship with God is such that, now finish. Describing it here. What's the relationship? Relating to God as
you exist and as a creator.
Relating to God as creator, and therefore
I exist. He's the creator, and
but why does my yeshus
because
it never get to dissolve?
Because there's a creator. If there's a creator, that means there's a creation, and here I am.
All right. So
Yes,
a creator produces creation. Again, the piece of art of the artist is not batel b'mitzias. The artist is the expression of the artist. On the contrary. So it's right. So it's going to be only bittul hayesh. If the relationship is God as creator, then I'm a small creation, a big creation, but I'm something that's produced. In fact, that's your greatness. You made me.
It's a beautiful expression.
That's your talent, that you produced me. So me and you, we have an erech. I am valuable. I am the expression of your talent. And that comes from you, so it's bittul. And I don't say I produced myself, but what I produce is a piece of you, as it were, and if I have value compared to you. So the bittul, the achtos with you, can never escape my value. Never. It's the starting point of it all. The origin is. Good. Whereas the higher yira but the higher yira is not God as creator, but his greatness and his exaltedness. Is higher than creation, like this is the Irakol b'moed, but there's darkest and darkest all this. We're speaking in broad brushstrokes. The cooler can be kilochash, in the words of the Zohar, in the face of, as it were, his exaltedness. All translate that, friends. Quoted in Tanya and repeatedly in Chassidus. Translate it.
All is as if not.
You're missing a word. Before him, yeah.
Before him.
Yeah. All before him. Kilochashiv is what? As of no significance, yeah. This is a bittul b'mitzios. This is not I'm something and I come from him and I acknowledge that he's the creator. So I am thankful, respectful, in awe. But rather, bittul b'mitzios, what does bittul b'mitzios mean? Some English words for a McGill student, bittul b'mitzios.
His whole existence is not anymore.
So the student says he disappears, he doesn't know anymore.
He becomes the expression of whatever he's bottled to, purely.
You're talking about God. Can you talk about God for a second? Tell me what you're talking about. Can you describe such a person? We're talking about a person that's holding by Yiri law. Can you give us some description what this person like? He's a vehicle for God's will. Yeah. Yeah, so explain the difference. Bit Layesh is certainly a vehicle for God's will too. The Merkava is a Merkava vehicle. It's Bit Layesh.
He's a vehicle for God's will without any sense of self.
Why don't you just say the bittel of a bittel ayesh is like a Beinani, and a bittel b'metzias is like a Rebbe.
Yeah,
Tzaddik.
our McGill student still doesn't know what you're talking about. He just replaced one word for another.
No, you show him two different people. You
Show him us. Obviously, look at him. Though. I'm asking you to tell me. I'm not saying no one's saying anything that's not true. That's wrong. I just want more ACS.
Bittel ayesh, he's utilizing everything he can to behave properly, even though he is, I shouldn't say smell a schmeckspinem, but even though he has a feeling of self. Mashenkein bittel b'metzias, there's nothing about him. It's all about Hashem. So bittel ayesh, the focus is more about the person.
Yeah, it's
and
all
bittel b'metzias is you see a guy, is nothing about him. It's all about the Eibishter.
all true. So, and I just add this little nuance to make just to bring it down. Like, what's this person like? How does he live? Bittul mitzvah.
We're talking about, so I think also from the previous matter, so Bittul Matthias, it's less about creation. There's an Abish there, and everything that you see in the world is an expression of Abish there, but it has nothing to do with you. So when you look around and you see things, it's really expressions of Abish there, not else creations that are doing what the Abish there wants, but you're looking at God wherever you look around.
Okay, nice. Yeah, okay, that's how you're looking. What about you? What's this? What's the person?
You're part of it.
Yeah. Okay. All good. Let's add this to distill it to make it very relatable. No, at least in theory. Bittul b'metzias is a person is not even aware that he's bottled. Bittul yesh is the sense of devotion and sacrifice, and he's aware of that. And it's also a struggle. It's just not constantly fighting with it. But bittul b'metzias is level mesidas nefesh, where he'd be like at the question, do you have self-sacrifice? It wouldn't understand your question. Bit like Yesh says, yeah, I've sacrificed, but that's the truth, and it's worth it all. And of course, Bittul Metzias says that you say about me, Bal Mesidas Nefesh looks like what are you talking about? That's not what you're talking about. Can't relate to your question. He's not aware of his Mesidas Nefesh. Why? Because there's only one, as you're saying, there's only one focus, the Eibishter, Pshitus and Pashtus, and that's it. I mean, there were the Chassidim like this, that were and are, With it. Huh? Yeah, Rav David Raskin was such a Jew, and there's many today, I'm sure. And Rav Mendel. Rav David was mamish. We saw him all the time, and he was an example closer to our world because he was not in Soviet Russia, though he was as a kid. Sometimes when the Chas v'shalom, they're not passing any judgment, and they're just using this as certainly no names of anybody, but just as an example. So when the Rebbe talks to someone, can call someone over. So there's one guy, he's all, they called him over, you can see in his face a whole transformation, a charoda, a trembling taka. He's banged out listening. Another person, this was David Raskin, standing the other end of 770, or being called over talking to him. No difference. There's no difference in him. They're talking to him. He's getting to concentrate. There's no difference between there, here, Bittul Metzias. Verbringen or talking in one-on-one, it's no difference. I just read a story here there. We'll read this to you. The wedding of Moishe Liberov now. So he gave out a chura, a beautiful gift of stories that Rabbi Folgeman, Hirschel Folgeman, the Shlich in Worcester, Shlich of the Frierdiker Rebbe, from the first American boys that became Chassidim and Shluchim. The first Mamish, Rabbi Groner from Australia, and him, and Beryl Baumgarten went to Argentina. These are legendary Chassidim.
Posner. Posner,
yeah. So he, Hecht, yeah. So it's beautiful. And his story, he wrote these stories down. They published them. So beautiful, beautiful stories. And we want pulling out just a picture of one of the stories. Avram Parish, the famous Avram Parish, a legendary chassid, lived in America then and taught them chassidus. The Zayd of Yossi Parish. So it was Gimel Tammuz. Gimel Tammuz, they were verbringing. No. They were sitting and learning, whatever it was, and Beryl Baumgarten came in and said that the Frierdiker Rebbe gone out of Europe. But we're going to have Warsaw. Got out of Warsaw. It was on the place erupted into celebration. They went to Fabreng, into Borough Park. They went to Rabbi Jacobson's house, to Fabreng. They said, Avram Parish, when the word came, there was no reaction. No reaction. What he was... But he writes, he was a kid, a teenager. He says, but I saw he was deeply affected. That's a bit of Metzias. Avram Parish is his kashas, if you know his story. It was his kashas was just on that level. All right, friends. We finished the sentence. No, so we'll continue. All right. Continue Be'ezer Hashem on Monday.